Good day to our course mates for Philo 171. So, nagbabalik na naman kaming Group 2. I am Charles Baligan, and I'm joined by my co-members, China Bendoy and Inigo Santos. So, if last time, we discussed human nature as told by Plato's The Ring of Gyges, ngayon, let us open up the discussion of the meaning of life through the concepts of suicide and absurdity on the philosophical essay of Albert Camus, which is entitled The Myth of Sisyphus. So before we start, I would like you all to ponder on this rhetorical question. So, is life worth living? So again, like last time, you do not need to answer sa group chat or anywhere. Just keep this question in mind throughout our discussion. Yan. So presented here is the outline of our discussion in this recorded video presentation. So first, we will meet Camus, ang ating author, and we will get familiar with the times when he wrote this essay. Furthermore, we will then talk about absurdity and suicide, then philosophical suicide, absurd freedom, and finally, the myth of Sisyphus and how it relates to what Camus is trying to say in this essay. And again, we will all synthesize this with our conclusion at the very end. So first, let us meet Albert Camus, ang author ng ating philosophical essay na pag-uusapan natin ngayon. So, he is a French novelist, essayist, and playwright. And pinanganak siya sa Monrovia, Algeria noong November 7, 1913 at namatay near Sens, France noong January 4, 1960. So, nakatanggap din siya ng Nobel Prize for Literature noong 1957 and kilala siya for novels such as The Stranger, The Plague, and The Fall. So, mga French actually ata yung names ng novels na to, pero yung English translation na lang nilagay ko kasi baka mabutcher ko lang yung pronunciation. So, kilala din siya sa pagsulat for leftist causes. And isa sa mga sinulat niya is yung philosophical essay na The Myth of Sisyphus, which i-discuss natin ngayon. Now, in order to prepare sa pag-discuss ng essay na ito, let us look at the context nung time na sinulat ni Camus yung essay. So, what even prompted him to write this in the first place? Well, he began writing this essay on the myth of Sisyphus during the 1940s. And ano ba yung important historical event na nangyari during this era? So, if natatandaan nyo sa high school subjects or sa class subjects natin here na na-take nyo na, World War II yung naganap din nung time na to. And around the same time, the Battle of France was occurring and kahit hindi siya explicitly referenced sa essay, we can put two and two together and see how this event may have urged Camus to write this piece. Kasi surely a catastrophic event such as a war would undoubtedly make people ask why about the very purpose of living. So something as catastrophic na nag-cause ng many bloodshed during that time, such as World War II, mapapaisip talaga yung tao and mapapakasyon nila yung purpose kung bakit pa sila nabubuhay. And as we go into discussion, papansin nyo na yun mismo yung recurring themes na i-discuss sa philosophical essay na ito ng The Myth of Sisyphus, which is yung the meaning of life. So ngayon, let us start sa first part ng ating discussion of Albert Camus's philosophical essay entitled The Myth of Sisyphus. So the first part is actually called Absurdity and Suicide, which is yung first chapter talaga ng essay. Pero throughout the discussion, isasama ko na rin yung next chapter entitled The Absurd Walls, kasi medyo related din naman sila. So as a quick overview sa part na ito, pag-uusapan natin yung definition of suicide, which I'm sure we are somewhat familiar with, na rin ang concept of absurdity and how it relates to suicide and what it means to us, what it means for mankind. So, wag na tayo maghintay pa, let us start the actual discussion. Ngayon, para madali, simulan natin sa concept na we are all familiar with to a certain extent, which is suicide. So, it is a very serious topic for it involves ending one's own life. So, its seriousness also translates sa realms of philosophy. So, in fact, it is considered nga as a truly serious philosophical problem. Wala na raw iba pang philosophical problem ang mas serious pa sa suicide. Kasi dito pumapasok ang tanong sa philosophy na, is life really worth living? Which may bigat talaga kung i-compare mo sa other philosophical questions na totoo ba na tatlo lang ang dimensions ng mundo or ilang categories ba meron ang human mind? So obvious na by comparison, ang mga other philosophical questions, laro lang yan, simply games in comparison sa question of suicide and the meaning of life, which is the truly serious philosophical problem. Additionally, the act of suicide is something that Camus finds difficult to understand. So, nahirapan daw siya intindihin yung concept na ito. Kasi marami daw possible reasons for suicide and there is no one glove that fits all that justifies one's motivation na mag-commit ng such act. So, kasi for someone committing suicide, it might be a result of personal sorrows or incurable illness. Or according kay Camus, pwede rin daw that someone can just have a bad day which will snowball effect and open up yung mga latent feelings of self-destruction. So it could be na masama lang yung araw mo and sunod-sunod yung kamalasan na parang pinagsakloban ka ng langit at lupa. And meron pala mga repressed or bottled up emotions na mabibring up which may lead you to commit self-harm or in this case, to commit suicide. So bottom line is, ang sinasabi ni Camus, walang isang reason lang for suicide, which is why he finds it, hard to analyze or understand. Now let us properly define the concept of suicide. So one way of defining it, according to Camus, is cutting oneself off from being properly understood by others. So very OA yung definition niya. Pero it makes sense naman, since syempre if you commit suicide, you are no longer around to justify actions or expand on your reasons for your actions. So you are absolving yourself to the opportunity to be understood. Yun yung point ni Camus. So syempre, wala ka na sa physical world para ipaliwanag yung sarili mo. So people will just end up hypothesizing. So chichismis na lang ang tao based sa mga actions mo before the said act. And if may letter or final note ka man na iniwan para maintindihan ka, yun lang ang gagamitin na basis ng tao to understand you, hindi man fully, pero to a certain extent. So yun yung isang definition of suicide na inoffer ni Camus. And another, more straightforward naman na definition of suicide is yung admission that life is no longer worth living. So very dark, pero that is what Camus says. So one commits such act kasi sa tingin nila, hindi naman worth na mabuhay pa. So might as well end it. So yun yung dalawang definitions of suicide na inoffer sa essay during this point. Now, why is the meaning of life important? So, di ba, nasabi nga isang definition ng suicide is the admission that life is no longer meaningful. Well, kasi as humans, inherently, we traverse life with a sense of meaning and purpose. So, yun yung, nabubuhay tayo na meron daw tayong dapat meaning and purpose. And naniniwala tayo na merong mga magagandang dahilan kung bakit tayo nabubuhay in the first place and bakit natin ginagawa yung mga ginagawa natin. So, bakit ko tinitake yung Philo 171 ngayon? Bakit ako nag-aaral sa UP? Bakit yun yung ginawa ko a few weeks ago? Bakit yun yung gagawin ko 10 years from now? So lahat, every minuscule decision to big decisions sa buhay, every action na ginagawa ng tao, naniniwala tayo na there is some meaning to it. However, although sinabi yun ni Camus, sinasabi rin niya na there are times wherein yung mga actions and decisions natin sa buhay ay nakikita na lang natin as a force of habit. So, for example, nag-aaral na lang ako kasi yun na yung ginawa ko for the past 14 to 15 years. Or gumigising at kumakain na lang ako kasi yun na yung ginagawa ko for the past 20 years. So, dumarating na sa point na majority ng buhay natin is done by habit. And that is inevitable. And pumapasok yung concept ng suicide doon as a representation, ang realization, na ang mga habit pala na nakasanayan ko na ito ay wala namang meaning, wala namang purpose. So, yun yung isa sa mga causes of one to commit such act according to Camus, which is yung realization na yung mga ginagawa mo naman sa buhay is wala namang purpose in the first place, so why do them still? And in this sense, hindi na natin nakikita yung sarili natin as free agents. And minsan, we even compare ourselves to mga machine or mga drones, no? Simply living life out of habit, not out of meaning and purpose. So, di ba, medyo familiar na yung na yun, yung parang yung phrase na yun na parang robot na lang ako, ganun. So kapag dumating tayo sa ganong perspective, lahat ng ginagawa natin sa buhay, we see as repetitive tasks na lang. No, it all seems pointless and it all seems absurd. Ito yung concept ng absurdity na sinasabi ni Camus, yung feeling na meaningless na ang buhay. Pero absurdity itself as a concept is more than just life is meaningless. No? Sabi nga ni Camus, may nuances pa sa definition ng absurdity. And it is more than just that na wala nang meaning ang buhay. In-explain niya to in a way by saying that it is a conflict. No? It is a conflict between humankind's longing for meaning and the world's inability to provide a satisfactory response. So, di ba sabi nga kanina na inherently ang people, ang mga tao, they look for meaning, they look for purpose in the universe. And in reality, no, sabi ni Camus, the universe is unable to give us a satisfactory response to that, no, to that question. Naghingi tayo ng purpose sa universe, and in the end, hindi naman talaga satisfactory yung isasagot ng universe sa atin if meron man siyang isasagot. So yun yung absurdity. May conflict between sa hinihingi natin sa mundo and sa binibigay niya sa atin. So hindi naman sa walang meaning ang life agad, pero pwedeng merong meaning para sa ibang tao, hindi lang sapat, or wala talagang meaning na binibigay sa yung mundo. So, yun yung absurdity itself. So Camus also likens this feeling of absurdity to that of exile. So ano siya ng analogy na parang exile daw yung concept of absurdity or yung feeling of absurdity. Ni exile na kanta ni Taylor Swift and Bon Iver. Pero yung exile as in na feeling divorced, feeling separated, or feeling isolated ka. So ah, exile as in isolated yung man sa buhay niya. O isolated yung tao sa buhay niya. May disconnect between sa isang tao and sa buhay niya. That is absurdity para kay Camus. So, you feel exiled from your life, from your very own life. So, ngayon na na-familiarize na tayo sa concepts of suicide and absurdity, ano naman ngayon, no? So, what's next? Well, hindi lang naman ginawa ni Camus ng essay na to para i-define yung dalawang concepts na yon. But rather, he wants to delve deeper sa relationship ng absurdity and suicide. So, he wants to ask na, totoo ba na just because life is meaningless, it is no longer worth living? So, porket ba walang binibigay na meaning ang mundo sa'yo, hindi na worth living ang buhay. And is suicide truly the solution to the feeling of absurdity? So, yung nararamdaman ba na absurdity ng tao, matitigil lang yon through suicide. Yun na lang ba ang solution na pwedeng i-take ng isang tao na nakakaranas ng absurdity, ng feeling of absurdity? Yun yung mga questions na hindi naman necessarily gusto sa Camus, pero gusto niyang i-explore sa essay na to. Well, Camus says that putting it that way is way too simplistic. No? Masyadong rigid and watered down daw para sabihin natin na in dealing with the absurdity of life, you can only choose from two options. No? You can either continue to live or to commit suicide. No? Masyadong rigid daw yung perspective na yon. Additionally kasi, denote din niya na meron talagang contradiction sa behavior ng mga tao in reality. Now, there are people who keeps on living kahit na feeling nila life is not worth living anymore. May mga ganun tao na kahit sa kanila wala nang meaning ang mabuhay, no, they still live. Similarly, there are people who commit suicide even if they still somewhat believe in the meaning of life. May mga ganun tao na nagko-commit na suicide kahit na somewhere deep inside, they still have that sense of meaning. May konting meaning. May mga ganun tao. May mga outliers talaga sa mga ganitong situations. So, hindi magandang way na i-frame daw o i-frame kung paano ba i-deal ang absurdity with life in such a rigid manner. So ngayon, if suicide is not the straightforward answer kung paano ba i-deal yung absurdity ng life, then what is? No, ano yung other answers na pwede nating i-take? Well, according kay Camus, the most common way na tinitake ng tao is to elude. No, yun yung term niya, to elude. So ano yung elude? Kasan. Takasan ng feeling ng absurdity. So paano niya tatakasan yung feeling ng absurdity? Well, this is through hope. So, familiar na kayo sa word na hope. Simula pa nung LM, naririnig niyo na pangalapate ng mga section ng iba sa inyo. Grade 4 hope, mga ganon. So people can simply hope na something better is in store for them in the future. So yun yung kakapitan ng tao. So kakapit sila sa pag-asa na magiging maayos ang lahat. So humans instinctively avoid facing the question on whether life truly has meaning. So hindi nila hinaharap yung tanong na may meaning ba ang life? Hindi nila hinaharap yung feeling of absurdity. And hindi nila hinaharap yung kaakibat na consequences if meaningless nga ang buhay. So yung act na to, yung act ng pag-avoid, the act of avoidance, the act of avoiding facing the absurdity of life, nagmamanifest itself through hope. So, di ba, usually finiframe natin ang hope as something positive. Pero this time, parang finrame ni Camus ang hope as something a bit negative, no? So, kasi ginagamit ang hope to avoid facing the absurdity of life. So, medyo kakaibang perspective tayo sa hope. Through hope kasi, pinagpapaliban natin yung pagharap sa consequences na dala if ever na meaningless nga ang buhay. Yun yung absurdity, di ba? So, we put it off through hoping na balang araw, we will eventually find meaning in it. So, because of that, because of this, because of viewing hope as this way, pagpapaliban sa pag-face ng absurdity ng life, although solution ang hope, Camus sees it as an irrational one. So, irrational solution daw ang hope in facing absurdity. Kasi, dinedefer lang naman natin ang confrontation with the absurdity of life long into the future. Pinagpapaliban lang natin ang pagharap sa absurd. Kumbaga, tsaka na natin isipin if totoo bang may saysay ang lahat ng to. Kasi you're hoping na kapag hinarap mo na yung tanong na yun in the future, magiging madali na sa'yo, hopefully, nasagutin na, oo, may saysay lahat. Oo, may meaning yung buhay ko. Oo, may meaning lahat ng mga pinagagawa ko. So, pero what if hindi, diba? So, example nito is, kunwari, for example, ako, pwede na mag-settle na lang ako sa kung ano meron ako ngayon. Ano tong course na pinasok ko, ano tong career na papasukin ko, and ano yung ginagawa ko now, and ano yung gagawin ko in the foreseeable future. Kahit na, let's say, dissatisfied ako right now. So, dissatisfied ba ako? Only I can tell. So, ayun, kunwari magsasettle ako kahit dissatisfied ako. Because I'm hoping na one day, everything will get better for me. Na lahat ng ito, lahat ng ginagawa ko, may meaning. And in general, may meaning ang buhay ko. Pero for Camus, irrational daw yun. Na ang paggamit as hope as a solution. Kasi hindi mo naman talaga face yung absurdity ng life. Pinagpapaliban mo lang yun. And umaasa ka na everything will work out. Pero there's no guarantee na mag-work out talaga. Ngayon, balik tayo sa absurdity. No, ilang beses ko na nababanggit ulit sa absurdity. So siguro baka may ilan sa inyo na medyo naguguluhan pa rin. Which gets naman kasi yung absurdity itself defined ni Camus as a very abstract concept. No? Pinresent niya sa essay as a very abstract concept. Hindi naman siya kagaya ng mga usual stuff lang na ano ba yung puno, ano ba yung gano'n, diba? So, very abstract yung concept ng absurdity. So, para mas maintindihan natin yung concept ng absurdity, let us ground it on our experiences. So, i-relate natin siya sa mga experiences natin. Well, kagaya ng generosity or jealousy or kung ano man, absurdity can actually be explained as a form of feeling. So, nararamdaman daw natin yan. And like any other feelings, mahirap din siya i-analyze at intindihin. Diba? Mahirap naman intindihin o i-analyze kung ba't ka nagsiselos, kung ba't ka malungkot, diba? So, instead of analyzing it, so Camus simply lists yung mga instances kung kailan mo usually ma-experience ang feeling ng absurdity in order to understand the concept more. So, kahit sino sa atin can experience absurdity actually at any point in time. Maybe na-experience nyo na to, maybe na-experience ko to kahapon lang or kanina lang, or maybe ma-experience ko ulit to in the future or ma-experience natin lahat to in the future. So, naglist si Camus and babanggitin ko rin yung mga specific instances na pwede nating maranasan yung feeling ng absurdity. So, hopefully, mas magets natin kung ano ba talaga yung tinutukoy na absurdity na to ni Camus na paulit-ulit ng conflict daw ng meaning, ng looking for meaning of life and wala daw binibigay yung universe. So, yung mga ganun, mas maintindihan natin through these experiences na babanggitin niya. So, unahin na natin sa pinakamadali or pinaka-common na instances wherein we may feel the feeling of absurdity. So, di ba, nasabi rin kanina na it is inevitable na we live our lives according to rhythm and habit. No? Gising, kakain, mag-aaral, magtatrabaho, matutulog, repeat. No? Re-repeat natin yung cycle na yun. So actually, sa essay nga, ang ginamit na example ni Camus is factory work. And minsan, darating tayo sa point na magsasawa rin tayo sa routine na to, sa rhythm and habit ng buhay natin, sa rhythm and habit ng daily lives natin. So we grow weary of our daily lives and mapapasabi ka na lang minsan na, ito na naman, lunes na naman, ito na naman yung gagawin ko, aral na naman, trabaho na naman. So this weariness, no, weariness meaning itong pagkapagod natin sa daily life natin, pagkapagod natin sa usual habits natin, this weariness sometimes brings about a sense of the absurd. So, minsan, no, to a certain extent, no, kapag grabe na yung pagod mo sa yung habits, grabe na yung pagod mo sa yung daily life, that actually is the feeling of absurdity, yung pagkapagod mo sa buhay mo. Ayan, ang isa pang instance, ito maganda para sa mga senti dyan, no? Yung isa pang instance sa sinabi ni Camus that we may feel the feeling of absurdity is when we become self-aware sa inevitable passing of time. No? So may analogy pa nga siya na ginamit we see ourselves now as a driftwood floating on the river of time and nothing we can do can extract us from time's inevitable progress. So kahit ano na gawin natin, hindi natin mapipigilan ang paglipas ng oras, ang paglipas ng panahon. So yan, as someone na in their early 20s na, mga di na teenagers, no, being suddenly aware na tumatanda na tayo and we can no longer relive the moments from when we were younger, from when we were oblivious, and from when we were happier, Yung mga nagsascroll dyan sa IG archives nila, mga nagre-reminisce at nakakaramdam na lungkot, you will never be that age again. No? I will never be 16 again. I will never be in high school again. I will never be in elementary again. No? I'll never be oblivious and innocent again. So, yan yung instance na can actually bring about a sense of the absurd. So, yung feeling na pagiging aware sa pagtanda mo, yung feeling na pagiging aware sa paglipas ng panahon, that can actually bring the feeling of absurdity. And another instance pa daw wherein we can feel the feeling of absurdity is when we see objects in the world be stripped of its meaning na binigay natin. No? Tinanggalan natin ng meaning or purpose sa mga bagay-bagay. So, for example, yung mga bagay na pinapahalagahan natin, let's say your medals, no? your I don't know, your high school diploma or your phone, that stuff to your friend gave you o kung ano man. Minsan kasi daw may mga point sa buhay natin, sabi ni Camus, na napapaisip tayo. Siguro, napapalalim yung pag-iisip natin. And napapaisip tayo na, nare-realize natin na yung mga bagay na ito na pinahahalagahan ko, these are just mere objects na ako lang nagbigay ng arbitrary meaning. Ako lang nagbigay ng halaga. No? And this can bring, that realization, that can bring a sense of the absurd. So, in a moment of absurdity, we see them as naked things. Parang, mapaisip tayo, normal lang to na bagay. Normal lang yung stuff to yung binigay sa akin. Yung medal, ano lang yan, ginto lang yan or something. So, we suddenly get aware na tayo lang din nagbibigay ng meaning sa lahat ng mga bagay na pinahahalagahan natin sa mundo. And to some people, that feeling or that realization brings about the feeling of absurdity. So, nakakaranas sila ng sense of absurdity kapag nare-realize nila yung mga ganung bagay. Another instance na binigay ni Camus is actually very specific, no? So, let's say daw na we see a person talking animatedly. So, magalaw daw, magsalita. Parang ako, magalaw ako magsalita. Behind a glass. So, nasa likod siya ng salamin. So, wala tayong naririnig. So, gawin natin mas general. So, let's say na lang na may nakikita kang ibang tao na nagsasalita with full emotions, with matching body gestures, body language, pero di mo siya naririnig. So, yung mga body language and gestures daw niya kapag na-observe mo, will seem like a ridiculous pantomime without significance. So, ano ba yung pantomime? So, pantomime is some sort of like theatrical entertainment, no? Before, na basically, itatell nila yung story through exaggerated gestures. Walang dialogue, just gestures and music. So, parang ganun daw, if you ever get the chance to observe people na nagsasalita, people na nag-uusap, people na gumagalaw beyond your hearing, no? Hindi mo sila naririnig, minsan daw naiisip mo na, ay, para lang silang nag-acting. Para lang silang parang walang saysay din yung mga sinasabi nila. So for example, nakatambay ka mag-isa sa cafe and you see people on the other side ng cafe na nagchichismis with full emotions. And may mga times daw na mahihit ka ng feeling of absurdity. Kasi in the end, marirealize mo na kung ano man yung pinag-uusapan nila doon, na hindi ko naririnig, nakikita ko lang. And kung ano man yung sasabihin ko in the future, in the grand scheme of things, hindi naman talaga mahalaga. Insignificant naman, meaningless. Hindi ko nga naririnig yung pinag-uusapan ng mga tao sa baba. Hindi na lang naririnig yun. Magsasalita ako dito ngayon. So, may mga realizations daw ibang tao through observing other people na lahat ng sinasabi natin, lahat ng sinabi ko, lahat ng sasabihin ko, lahat ng sasabihin natin lahat, in the grand scheme of things, insignificant and meaningless. And yun, yung isa pa sa nagbe-bring ng sense of absurdity sa ibang tao is when they observe people and they feel that na insignificant lang lahat ng mga sinabi nila at insignificant lahat ng mga sinasabi ng mga tao. So that also brings a sense of absurdity. Ayan, lastly, nagbigay pa si Camus actually na isa pang instance wherein we can feel absurdity. And yun daw kapag we see a dead body. Pero what are the chances naman na may makikita tayong dead body? So let's make it more general. No, whenever we encounter death, directly man or indirectly, pwedeng namatayan ka, namatayan yung friend mo, or may nabalitang namatay. Basta whenever we encounter death, no, we realize na this is our inevitable, cold, senseless end. Lahat tayo pupunta doon. And we get reminded of our own mortality. No, in the end, mamamatay rin naman tayong lahat. So what is the point of living? So yun yung isa sa mga instances wherein we experience the feeling of absurdity kapag we get reminded of our own mortality because we encounter death. So basically, to simplify lahat ng mga instances na nabanggit ko earlier as much as possible, may common theme dun eh. If napansin nyo, lahat ng instances na yon, na-encounter natin ang feeling of absurdity kapag tinatawag tayong existential crisis, di ba? Feeling ko nga nagka-existential crisis ako habang ina-explain sa inyo yung mga instances na yun eh. So, I think naman, or I'm sure, I'm hoping, pero hindi pala I'm hoping, pero I think, no, I'm confident na at least one of those instances na experience yun na. So, hopefully, mas naintindihan nyo na ngayon yung concept ng absurdity na tinutukoy ni Camus. Kasi, mas na-ground na natin siya sa experiences na nararanasan natin on a day-to-day basis. Yan, pero hindi pa tayo nagtatapos sa chapter na to. Grabe, first part pa lang, pero madami pang sinasabi. So, ayon kasi kay Camus, no, according to him, absurdity is not just something that we feel on the level of experience. No? Hindi lang natin ito nararamdaman when we experience certain things. Pero absurdity also manifests itself on the level of intellect. So kahit daw mismo sa pag-iisip natin bilang tao, absurdity arises. So, paano yun? Paano nag-arise yung absurdity sa pag-iisip natin? Well, the human mind kasi is driven by a certain nostalgia for unity. Hindi unity na pinangako ng isa dyan, ah. Pero meron daw kasi yung mga tao na desire to make sense of the universe and reduce it to a unified, comprehensible whole. So, di ba nga may mga scientists, if aware kayo, before, up until now, na sinusubukan mag-come up ng tinatawag na theory of everything. No, isang theory that will explain the very laws of our universe and why it is the way it is. Bakit maganto yung universe natin? So, yun yung isa sa mga manifestation ng desire for a nostalgia of unity ng mga tao. May kagustuhan tayo na intindihin ang mundo, intindihin ang buhay, intindihin ang universe through a certain unified, comprehensible concept. So, may ganun desire tayo. Pero, makulit yung universe, no? It is too diverse and it actually refuses to conform sa desire ng tao for unity na sinabi kanina. Sabi nga ni Camus, there are truths but no truth. No? Ang gulo, no? May truths daw pero walang truth. Ang ibig sabihin lang nun is maraming facts, maraming katotohanan, pero walang single truth, walang single theory that can explain everything as a whole. Masyadong fundamentally irrational ang mundo and masyadong irrational ang universe para magkaroon ng single truth that can explain everything. So we can actually use science to try and explain the world, but in the end, we can actually only ever describe it. Di naman natin na-explain yung mundo, na-describe lang natin yung mundo. Na-describe lang natin ang universe. We can answer the question of how, but not of why. Alam natin kung paano nabuo yung ganito, paano nagkapuno, paano nagka-star, paano nagka-earth, paano nagkagantong element. Pero hindi natin alam why. Bakit nagkagantong puno? Bakit nabuo to? Bakit may ganto? Bakit ganto mag-behave ang gravity and all that? Alam natin kung paano, hindi natin alam kung bakit. So, yun yung limitation ng human mind. And yun din yung nagkakos ng absurdity. Kasi in the end, the only thing certain in this universe is uncertainty. So, di ba, parang ano lang nga, yung saying na the only thing constant is change. Yun yung datingan. Sinasabi kasi ni Camus na natural na uncertain ang mundo. And hindi talaga natin mafulfill yung desire for unity na tinutukoy niya earlier. Kasi nga, uncertain talaga. Hindi natin kayang i-explain yon using one truth, using one theory. So, in the end, nagkakaroon ng absurdity hindi dahil sa human mind or dahil sa mundo. Instead, yung absurd is yung confrontation between the two. So, di ba kagaya kanina, yung absurdity nabubuo daw from the confrontation between the desire for meaning and the lack of satisfactory response given by the world or given ng mundo. Dito naman, when looking at absurdity on the level of intellect, similar din. Yung absurd dito, yung confrontation between irrationality of the world and yung desire of the human mind to achieve unity. Hindi kasi nami-meet yung desire natin because sa irrational nature ng universe. Yun yung absurdity on the level of intellect. Hindi natin kayang bumuo ng single theory, ng single truth to explain everything. And yun yung absurdity. Kasi hindi kayang tugunan ng universe yung need natin na yun. Dahil nga, masyadong irrational yung universe for that. So, in talking about the absurdity on the level of intellect, Camus actually references yung mga ideas ng previous thinkers before him, such as Heidegger, Jaspers, Chestov, Kierkegaard, and Husserl. So, iba-iba man sila ng mga sinasabi to a certain extent, nagkakasundo naman sila sa isang bagay. And yun, na ang malinaw lang daw sa philosophy and sa mundo, is yung limitations ng human knowledge. So, the rest, uncertain and incomprehensible na. So, kumbaga, the only thing certain is uncertainty, which is yung recurring theme naman kanina habang in-explain natin yung concept ng absurdity through various levels, levels of experience and levels of intellect. So, ngayon na napasadahan na natin yung absurdity, we can now move on to the succeeding parts of this philosophical essay. More specifically, philosophical suicide na i-explain naman ni Shaina.
So now let's move on to another section of Camus' work, which is the philosophical suicide. So earlier, diniscuss na ni Charles yung suicide, but the concept of suicide was pertaining to is yung physical, and we learned na ang suicide is a way of people to respond to the absurdity of life. So right now, I will be emphasizing the suicide which is committed in a figurative way, and which according to Camus is the philosophical suicide. Pero paano nga ba nangyayari ang philosophical suicide? We know that there are lots of philosophical problems that philosophers have tried to answer, and for sure, until now, meron pa rin mga questions na hindi pa rin nasasagot. But according kay Camus, there is one truly serious philosophical problem, and that is suicide. Later, I will be discussing how Camus addresses this philosophical problem and try to explain why it is one truly serious problem in the field of philosophy. Before nag-delve si Camus sa philosophical suicide, diniscuss niya ulit ang absurdity since these two concepts goes hand by hand. Siguro right now, pagod na kayong marinig yung concept na to pero wala kayong choice. So sabi sa book niya, feeling absurd is different from understanding the absurdity itself. He also said that feeling absurd only lays the foundation for understanding it. So para mas naget natin, let's have an example. So sa context ng career, paano nga ba nagkakaiba ang feeling absurd and understanding absurdity? So sa feeling absurd, imagine that you've been dedicated for years sa pag-pursue ng career mo, like climbing the corporate ladder in a prestigious company. However, nung na-reach mo na yung position na gusto mo, biglang you felt a profound sense of emptiness and disillusionment. So, despite the success, nakikita mo pa rin yung sarili mo na question yung meaning and purpose of your endeavors. This feeling of absurdity arises from the discrepancy between your societal expectations and your internal sense of fulfillment. So now, paano to naiiba sa understanding the absurdity itself? Building upon an example sa career, understanding the absurdity itself involves a deeper philosophical examination of the human condition. If talagang naintindihan mo yung absurdity, alam mong it does not only in your experience but in the broader context of human existence. So kapag naintindihan mo to, i-assess mo yung values and priorities na meron ka, i-recognize mo na yung true fulfillment cannot be derived solely from external validation or societal norms. So now, you may seek to live authentically, ipupursue mo yung endeavors that resonate with your innermost values and aspirations, even if you diverge from conventional notions of success. Absurdity emerges from the discrepancy between our expectations and the actual outcomes of our actions or situations. So, nangyayari ito kapag gumagawa tayo ng mga certain expectations or nag-envision tayo ng mga outcomes. And kapag ginawa na natin yung mismong action, we are with a reality that is far, far different from those expectations. This clash between what we desire or anticipate and what actually transpires shows the inherent unpredictability and irrationality of human existence. So, for example, I was studying hard for one of my subjects this sem and I spent a week sa pag-review. But when the exam came, I saw na parang useless yung inaral ko because hindi sila lumabas. So, mapapasabi na lang ako ng, this is absurd. Because despite my efforts and preparations, I am confronted with a situation that defies my expectations. This will give me a sense of disorientation and disappointment with the things that I did not expect. With this, we can say that the absurdity does not exist solely in humans or the world, but kung paano sila nag-interact. Human beings, with their capacity for reason and imagination, often impose expectations or ideals onto their experiences and surroundings. However, the world, characterized by its inherent complexity and unpredictability, may not conform to these expectations, leading to moments of absurdity. So now that we have learned the concept of absurdity, let's delve on its implications. So Camus argues that once individuals become aware of the absurdity, they are forever bound by it. This awareness fundamentally alters one's perspective, and because of this, mag-iiba na yung way ng pagtingin natin sa sarili natin o maging sa mundo. Absurdity cannot be compartmentalized or separated from human existence. It becomes an inextricable part of the individual's consciousness. Camus also argues that when we become aware of absurdity, we may experience a sense of hopelessness and dissatisfaction. Recall natin yung example ko kanina about sa nervyo ko and yung mismong exam na lumabas. So, di ba, in the end, I felt a sense of disappointment since magkaiba yung expectation ko sa reality na na-experience ko. So, ang sinasabi lang dito, this feeling stems from the realization that the expectations and ideals we hold do not align with the unpredictable and indifferent nature of the world. Ngayon naman, let's see how the following existential philosophers were cited in the book of Camus. First is Karl Jaspers, which was mentioned earlier. So Jaspers emphasized the impossibility of unifying the world but sought transcendence. He believed that trying to understand everything in the world is really difficult because there are so many different perspectives and ideas. So what he suggested is to find deeper meaning in life sa pamamagitan ng pagtingin sa ibang perspective beyond our own personal views. For Chest of the Mun, he suggested that the absurd is God, and he believed that we need God to navigate the impossibilities in our lives. He argued that human reason and logic fail to fully comprehend the complexities of existence, which is the cause of absurdity. So he suggested that turning to God would provide solace and guidance in confronting the things that seems impossible in life. Lastly is Kierkegaard, who is known for advocating the leap of faith, where individuals identify with the irrational and commit to God. He emphasized the importance of faith and subjective truth in the face of existential uncertainty. And in Facing Absurdity, he proposed the concept of the leap of faith, wherein individuals embrace the irrational and commit themselves to God despite the absence of empirical evidence. So both Chastov and Kierkegaard suggest turning to God or embracing irrationality in the face of life's absurdities. However, Camus contradicts these ideas by suggesting that by embracing the absurd and rejecting false hopes, one can achieve a deeper understanding of existence. He argues that Chastov and Kierkegaard, in their pursuit of faith or irrationality, fail to fully engage with the absurdity of existence. While they may find solace in their beliefs, they ultimately avoid the true confrontation with the absurd. Camus suggests that embracing irrationality or seeking solace in faith does not truly address the existential struggle. Camus acknowledges that these philosophers attempted to confront absurdity, but their perspective appears to resemble what we call as philosophical suicide. An endeavor to alleviate the feeling of dissatisfaction is equal to an attempt to escape absurdity. Philosophical suicide, in essence, serves as a form of escapism from the inherent absurdity of the world. Camus then presents the concept of the absurd man, who acknowledges the absurdity of life without seeking false comfort or answers. Instead of trying to find definitive answers or seek solace in external sources such as faith or irrationality, hinaharap nila ang absurdity and accepts the uncertainty and contradictions sa life. With that, Camus suggests that being the absurd man is a more courageous response to the human condition, embracing the absurd rather than seeking refuge in faith or irrationality. He said that if tanggap natin yung absurdity, we would have freedom and autonomy with how we create meaning and values in our lives. So, balik ulit tayo sa philosophical suicide, which was introduced by Albert Camus as a philosophical attitude wherein individuals attempt to transcend the inherent contradictions and limitations of human existence by embracing ideologies or belief systems that provide false comforts or meaning. So, basically, ito yung pagharap mo sa absurdity ng nagkikling ka sa faith or irrationality. This contradiction arises from the tension between human aspirations for meaning and significance and the ultimately meaningless nature of the universe. Existentially often regard negation as their God, representing a rejection of conventional belief and an affirmation of individual freedom and autonomy. They maintain this God by denying the sufficiency of human reason to comprehend the complexities of existence. This denial can manifest through religious aspirations, wherein individual seeks solace in divine transcendence, or through rational thought, wherein they attempt to construct elaborate philosophical system to explain the inexplicable. In contrast to philosophical suicide, Camus suggests that we should be the absurd man, which is the man who acknowledges the inherent absurdity of existence and confronts it with logical reasoning rather than seeking refuge in philosophical or religious solutions. Instead of attempting to transcend the limitations of human existence, the absurd man embraces the tension between human aspirations and the meaningless nature of the universe, finding meaning and value in the very act of confronting absurdity.
It is at this point we will discuss absurd freedom, one of the last parts of the essay. Discussion of absurd freedom will also involve discussing the three consequences. But before looking into these, we will first look into some general information from the third portion of the reading. Albert Camus put emphasis on giving value to facts, or knowing what is certain or absolute. He did mention later on that the urge to understand things, how the world works, is difficult to fulfill given the complexity of the world itself. Let's look at some notable texts from the essay. If I were a tree among trees, a cat among animals, this life would have a meaning, or rather, this problem would not arise, for I should belong to this world. This implies that, compared to a tree or an animal like a cat, us humans are more intelligent or aware. It is because of this awareness and intellect that humans possess that it is hard for us to simply exist on this earth. It allows us to ask questions like, what is the meaning of life? Why am I doing this? What is my purpose? Now that we've gone over some general information, we can now look into the three consequences that Camus discussed in the essay. The first consequence that Camus identified is revolt. From what Camus discussed, revolt refers to the fact that no one will accept their fate if they know it to be absurd or unfavorable. To understand this further, let's look at another notable line from the essay. That revolt is certainly of a crushing fate. A person would do anything to avoid an unpleasant destiny. Revolt means that an individual has to be aware of an inevitable fate. The line, living is keeping the absurd alive, simply implies that acknowledging the absurd is part of living. Contemplating or reflecting on the absurdity is what keeps it alive. In simpler terms, if you were to ignore a problem, forget about it, then you would have no problem to worry about it in the first place. The line also implies that living life involves dealing with absurdity. Besides revolt, we have freedom, the second consequence. For Camus, knowing if an individual has freedom means firstly knowing if they can have a master. Camus also mentioned the problem of freedom, which is that its notion that allows it also takes away its meaning. Let's once again look at some text from the essay, specifically this. Either we are not free and God the All Powerful is responsible for evil, or we are free and responsible, but God is not all powerful. Camus mentioned that he cannot understand the freedom granted to man by higher being, as he has lost the sense of hierarchy. Camus can only imagine freedom in the context of a prisoner or a citizen of a state, and only knows the freedom of thought and action. In the essay, Camus also discussed that if a person has aims, thought of the future, or has preferences, it reflects their belief of being free. These things give them the feeling of having freedom, as these are things that are in their control. However, Camus then mentioned that as a person has aims, thought of the future, preferences, the things that allow them to believe that they have freedom, they ironically become slaves to meeting the demands of their purpose. To elaborate, a person may have a choice to manage the things under their control, but as they choose to do so, they end up exerting much of their effort to fulfill the demands they brought upon themselves. In his essay, Camus stated that death is the only thing that humanity does not have control over. What Camus meant by death is there as the only reality simply means that death is certain. For Camus, once a person meets death, they no longer have the freedom to preserve themselves. There is no more opportunity for eternal revolution, or to go against death since it is a part of life. We are now going to discuss the third and final consequence, passion. Camus discussed experiences and what it means to an individual. Camus stated that the conduct and scale of values of an individual can be attributed to the amount of experiences they have accumulated. In regard to the amount of experiences one accumulates, most people have the same amount and the same profound experiences because of the conditions of life that they are exposed to. Camus also stated that a mistake that one might make is thinking that the amount of experiences is mainly dependent on the circumstances of one's life. The quantity does not solely depend on the circumstances, but rather on the individual. What this means is that one must be conscious or aware of their experiences. To be aware of your own life, your revolt, and freedom is living. To further elaborate on the third consequence, which is passion, we must look into excerpts from the essay. Camus made mention of the Greeks and their belief about premature death. The Greeks believed that those who died at a young age were actually beloved by the gods. However, the belief is true if one is willing to also believe that those who enter the realm of the gods will be unable to have feelings or emotion. Being with the gods means being emotionless. Camus's brief discussion on Greek beliefs tackles the topic of emotion or feeling, something attributed to having passion. It implies that to live is to also have passion, to feel emotion. In discussing the myth of Sisyphus, we must first know who Sisyphus actually is. Sisyphus is usually referred to as the futile laborer of the underworld. He is also known for not taking the gods seriously. Homer says that Sisyphus was the wisest and most prudent of all mortals. On the other hand, another account claims that Sisyphus is inclined to engage in the activities of highwayman, a thief who targets travelers on the road. Now that we know who Sisyphus is, we can now discuss the myth of Sisyphus. The myth starts with Zeus, or Jupiter, kidnapping Aegina, nymph of the river. Her father Asopus, god of the river, went to Sisyphus to ask about the whereabouts of his daughter. Sisyphus was willing to tell Asopus the whereabouts of his daughter on the condition that he provides water to the citadel. However, once Zeus found out about their deal, he ordered Thanatos, or Death, to chain Sisyphus in the underworld. Sisyphus, however, tricked Thanatos and chained him instead. Because Thanatos was chained, no one met their death, making Ares, or Mars, the god of war, free Thanatos as there was no more fun in battles. Sisyphus returned to the land of the living after tricking Thanatos, and he lived his life. However, before death, Sisyphus wanted to test the love of his wife by ordering her to throw his unburied body in the middle of the public square. After death, Sisyphus went to the underworld. It was there he revealed that he received no proper burial. He was then given permission to return to the land of the living to punish his wife, as long as he immediately returned to the underworld. Sisyphus did not return to the underworld. Sisyphus eventually did meet his fate. Hermes, or Mercury, known as the messenger of the gods, fetched Sisyphus and brought him back to the underworld. The gods sentenced Sisyphus to push a large boulder up a hill. However, as soon as Sisyphus would reach a certain point, the boulder would fall back down to the foot of the hill. Sisyphus would then have to return to the bottom to push the boulder until it would fall again. This became an eternal cycle that Sisyphus was stuck in. In summary, Sisyphus constantly revolted or defied fate. He went to lengths to avoid what was inevitable. For Albert Camus, the punishment of Sisyphus can be seen as embracing our struggles and absurdities as our own, thus giving life meaning.
So now, ano nga ba yung mga morals or implications na makukuha natin sa The Myth of Sisyphus or sa buong work ni Albert Camus? So the first one is to embrace the absurdity of life. So sa buhay, marami tayong mga questions and scenarios where we anticipate certain outcomes, only to find that the universe does not always answer and align with our expectations. So this is absurdity. But if we embrace natin yung absurdity na yun, napapalaya natin yung sarili natin sa burden ng disappointment and the existential questioning that often follows. Instead, we find a sense of peace and acceptance in acknowledging life's inherent unpredictability and the limitations of our control over it. Next naman is to find joy and meaning in life in the face of absurdity. So kapag in-embrace natin yung absurdity ng buhay, it leads to an understanding na yung kasiyahan, hindi lang siya nagdadepend sa usual notions ng kasiyahan na meron sa society. Happiness is about finding fulfillment amidst chaos and uncertainty, much like what Sisyphus experienced. Just as Camus suggests in The Myth of Sisyphus, our existence may seem futile, but within that absurdity lies the opportunity to create our own meaning and derive joy from the simple act of persevering. So life is basically a state of constant struggle, and clinging onto hope only makes us more miserable. We can only truly be happy when we accept life as it is. Just like Sisyphus, nagsistruggle din tayo sa iba't ibang aspect ng buhay natin. But he accepted his agony, performed his task, and accepted life as it is. Tayong mga tao, meron tayong iba't ibang approach sa mga challenges na kinakarap natin. So nasa sa atin kung gagayahin ba natin yung perspective ni Sisyphus or not. But for Camus, Sisyphus' action represent a self-compassionate form of radical acceptance.
So, to sum it all up, absurdity is yung conflict between what mankind expects and desires and what the world or the universe actually gives back in response. So, whether yung desire natin for meaning and yung inability ng world na magbigay ng satisfactory response to that desire, or our desire for unity of thought and the world's irrational nature na nagre-refuse to conform to our desire. So, yung conflict between what we want, what we expect, versus kung ano yung binibigay ng world and universe, yun yung tinatawag na absurdity. On the other hand, suicide is yung act ng ending one's own life, and it is giving in to the absurd kasi nga, it is basically the admission that life no longer has meaning. So although a solution to the feeling of absurdity, Camus views it as way too simplistic and ultimately says na there are other ways of dealing with the absurdity of life.
The concept of philosophical suicide highlights the tendency of individuals to seek false comfort by embracing ideologies or beliefs that mask the inherent contradictions of existence. With this in mind, Camus suggests that we must embody the persona of an absurd man, one who confronts life's uncertainties head on and find freedom in embracing the absurdity of human existence.
Absurd freedom focuses on three consequences: revolt, freedom, and passion. These consequences provide insight into how an individual may deal with the absurdities of their lives, their repetitive struggles, as well as provide perspective on the meaning of life. We all have absurdities to deal with in our lives, and though it may be difficult at times, what matters most is how we choose to respond.